Mr. Chandrasekhar. Thanks so much for taking the time out and joining us on
Thank
this
you.
edition of Hot Stocks. To another stock, that is Blue Star. It's not been a very happy performance by the company. Pull up the stock price for you. That will pretty much show you what I'm talking about. 5% lower. Satish Jamdar, Managing Director of the company, joins us right now for a quick check on the numbers. Mr. Jamdar, thanks so much for joining in. I remember interacting with you maybe around 2 or 3 months ago, and you had mentioned that it will take some time before you get back to better ways. But this quarter has been quite disappointing. You think in the near term you'll be able to shrug off the kind of blues that you have and come up with a slightly better performance?
Yes, Neeraj, good morning. Thanks for remembering our last discussion. I mentioned to you that the slowdown has begun. We saw slowdown actually accelerating, and actually that's what has happened. If you see most corporates, I see their Q2 sales and both top and bottom line much lower, or at least looking now lower than what it is in the first quarter. I think we have the same issues. We like to look at ourselves not necessarily quarter by quarter. Some of our business run for more than 6 months to a year, sometimes even more than that. You've got to look at it overall. I did mention that we will have indeed a problem on our contracting business going forward for a couple of quarters, and that's what you're actually seeing. Perhaps what we didn't foresee at that time, when you were talking to me last time, was the sudden spurt in the dollar rate, which I think has got many corporates off guard. That's not what the experts said. It started rising around mid-August and really ramped up 10%, which does affect inflation in a way, because a lot of imported costs, and even item like steel, I think, would get then marked based on an imported cost. On the other hand, while the dollar has gone up, we found some easing in the copper prices. So there is a mixed bag ahead. As far as the contracting business is concerned, I think we still have a couple of quarters to deal with for the old jobs that are closing, and we need to get out some of the difficult jobs. So that will happen. On the long run, beyond that, and certainly even for the shorter run, for the last quarter and the first quarter of next year, our products business, that is the major seasonal sale, will certainly ramp up. We'll certainly do much better there. As an overall long-term answer to your question, I think we are a very solid company. Fundamentally, everything's strong. We gone little out on the cash flow, and some of the margins, as you saw, they reflected with each other. Actually, they're connected to each other. We already taken steps to clamp down on borrowings, reduce our cash borrowing, and you'll see that difference coming quarter by quarter. Reduce the inventory costs, reduce the interest costs. The forex cost, which has already happened, a lot of imports have come in, so we are now discounted for that. Sure. And fundamentally, I think it's a company that will, as a market leader, will continue showing good results in the long term. That's my personal opinion.
Sure, Mr. Jamdar.
And I think that's how we all look at it.
Okay, talk about the interest cost payment. As you said, you're looking at deleveraging the company. What's the expectation by March 2012 about how much the interest cost would come down by? How much would the total debt in the balance sheet reduce by?
Tanveer, I think it's difficult to answer exact numbers. Clearly, on a month-to-month basis, we're looking at pushing our collections, dues from customers. We're getting a little more focus on that. We're requesting customers, they want us to progress on their jobs, they have to pay. I know that cash flow is a problem in the market, interest rates and liquidity, so the customers themselves are perhaps struggling a bit. But I think that we got to now look into. We're getting into not getting material into sites or on our factories unless it's essential for buildings for the next maybe 3-4 weeks or maybe 5-6 weeks, depending on the cycle. So we're getting very tight on cash flow, and every month you'll see a reduction in the total borrowings that we have. And I'm hoping internally, at least our plan is to get back to the beginning of the year what we had by end of this year. So it'll be sort of middle of the year has come up to a large number like 600 crores. It was 400 crores beginning of the year. We're hoping internally to come back to that level by year.
You think you can generate profit?
A lot will depend, of course, on how our collections go.
Right. I just wanted to get a quick reaction. Do you think that you would be able to, with your recoveries going up and cash flow increasing, be able to generate a profit in the fourth quarter?
Certainly, second half of the year will be much better than what you saw. As I said, the old jobs had to be dealt with. We have dealt with a lot of them, but there's still a few as we go forward. And it's not a static situation. All the time there's volatile change in material costs or dollars, and so it's very tough to predict exactly what will happen. We got a sense of direction here. I can't be very sure of exact numbers at this stage, but that's the direction we're taking, and I think we are clear that the second half should be clearly better than what you saw so far.
And we wish you all the best for that, Mr. Jamdar.
And definitely next year certainly better than this. Yeah.
Great. And
thank you very much.
We look forward to those discussions as well, Mr. Jamdar. Thanks so much for taking the time out and joining us on this edition. Out of time completely, but okay, just a couple of updates. Atlanta, the stock has got some over 1,000 crore order, and Edelweiss, there is a block deal that has happened, 2 million shares. Well, I guess it's close to 0.3% of